us here on a brand new edition of the CNBC-TV18 Weekender. Yes, the show is back, and to start things off, we have the management of Titan with us in their beautiful, beautiful Bangalore office. Let's go. We're here right outside the beautiful cabin of Titan Company's MD. He's waiting for us. Let's go in. Mr. CK Venkataraman. What does CK stand for? Not a lot of people know this.
It stands for Coimbatore Krishnamurthy Venkataraman. It's quite a mouthful, right? What happens is in the boarding card, it gets expanded like that. And there was a recent trip I made where they forgot to put a gap between Coimbatore and Krishnamurthy. So you can imagine a string of letters from C all the way to Y, which was some 30 letters or something. One word, one
That's
name, presumably one name.
Yep.
And the air hostess was welcoming each passenger by calling out the name.
Yeah.
And looking at the boarding card and said, Mr. Malhotra, Mr. So-and-so, like that. She looked at it and looked at me and said, okay, go.
Is the length of the pandemic impacting your business now, or everything is back to normal?
I think in our minds, we have certainly put COVID behind us and got used to it as another kind of illness that we have to live with.
And has that reflected in the business as well? First quarter numbers, phenomenal numbers. Has that sustained into the second quarter, the momentum? Your thoughts for the remainder of this year?
You know, very, very bullish about, as we speak, as well as the second half of the year. Even the mood or message from the recently concluded jewelry show. It happens, annual show, which happens in Mumbai. The orders placed by the jewelers on the vendors is an indication of their positivity. It's very, very strong.
You're not too far from the 35 to 40,000 crore revenue mark this year.
I guess not. I think, you know, the first quarter was a very, very good beginning. And we're just continuing that thinking, certainly. Because finally, we still have 8 months left or thereabouts. And irrespective of how each month may play out, it is our desire to, thrust. And our focus is rather more on sales growth, rather more on gaining more competitive advantage in each of the businesses, rather more on building the Horizon 3 and the Horizon 2 businesses, and worry less about the profitability, certainly in FY23. Because if we do all that, it can go like this FY25 and thereafter.
So you have the 60,000 crore target for the jewelry business.
In the, Ajoy spoke of 2.5x in the investors conference, and we announced a big one for the international business, a big one for Tenera, and so on and so forth.
So let's continue this conversation as we go along. So what struck me the most about this place is it's called integrity. And, it brings such a smile to my face for a company which really stands by integrity to actually name their office integrity. How did that come about in this office?
So we had started a competition for this, and Bhaskar had sent a mail to various employees, all employees, to suggest a name for this place. And if I remember right, there was a Singapore trip for the winner. And a lot of names came, and they were Titan this, Titan that, or whatever it is, and nothing was really striking. And one day, Bhaskar, I think it must have sort of occurred to him in his sleep. He woke up and must have got it, and then he mailed us saying, look, I think we should name this place.
So did he go to Singapore after that?
We said it has to be special, and each one of us had started dreaming about what it should be like. Like my own thing was that I should be able to, sit with my feet in the water and talk about some, subject, some creative discussion or something like in a college, right?
Definitely the most beautiful office that I've seen in India at least. And if I had to compare it to another office that I have seen from the outside, not from the inside unfortunately, is the spaceship that Apple has in Cupertino. Was there any influence from the great company there with regards to?
Not really. We've not been there to see that place. But that we are a design company, which is very much central to this. The other thing is that we also wanted to become more sort of vocally a young people's company. We've always been that.
Right. With that Apple comparison, I think you know perhaps where I am getting at the wearables category. What is the wearable of the future looking like? What is Titan doing to be at the forefront of that? Because there would be multiple comparisons with a lot of other technology players who are doing extremely well here.
Yeah, we were actually a late entrant into this, and even as early as or as late as 2019, we were not really well equipped to play well in this. We realized that, and we acquired a company in Hyderabad. We launched a very, very exciting product called the Titan Pay in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. And the Titan Pay is actually a debit card in a watch. It's a payment watch, whereas this was embedded in the watch, and all you had to do was do this without taking that effort on that machine. And just an example how Titan thinks about customers and conveniences for customers or solutions and builds products upwards.
You said that you would like to work in a place where you can dip your feet in the water, and I'm tempted now. It's a little sunny as well.
So,
You want to do that? Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala passed away. Would you have any story of the time that you spent with him?
Rakesh was such a wonderful person also, apart from the legendary wealth creator that he was. And I've been to his home multiple times, and he has been such a fabulous host there, giving me the tastiest of mangoes, from wherever he got them. And even in the most challenging questions that he had asked us, it was always with respect to us as management. So, lot of memories and really heartbroken.
They still hold about 5 crore shares in the company, 5.05 crore shares. Has there been any word on the future of their holding?
Actually, we are not really looking at that. Like I had said in a recent interview, Rakesh believed so much in the fundamentals of Titan company, right? And finally, his belief, sort of proved right, and the fundamentals of Titan company continued to be as strong, if not stronger. So there is no reason for anything like what you are describing to happen at all, in my view. But we are certainly not in conversation of any such thing.
It's interesting that, unfortunately he didn't live to see the vision that he had for India and for Titan as well, the vision that you guys have, almost 60,000 crores in jewelry sales by FY27. You do all the maths together, comes to around 75,000 crores. Put all the verticals together in terms of revenues. Is that the number which is...
Obviously, in the investor conference, the parts were there. Like we did say 10,000 crores MRP from watches, 2.5x from jewelry, so much from Taner and all that. You add all that, it is taking us to the ballpark of that. So it's just that like the 10,000 of watches, there is no 77,000 sitting in my head for me to confirm. That's it.
I completely understand that. So, what we want to know then is that at that level of scale, you would have all the pieces in place and all the pieces in scale as well. So, what would the operating leverage come to be? And your margins currently are at the highest that we've seen, at least in the last many quarters, if not history. So, what would they be then at that level?
I would say that that scale represents the potential to significantly improve our profitability.
And you also entered the cost-cutting program right before the pandemic happened, and that helped you during the pandemic as well. How much of those synergies have been realized already? How much of that is yet to be realized?
Some of it continues. Some of it was situational, which was required for that period. But what we've ended up achieving is the ownership of profit and balance sheet. And that is the backbone of our predictable continuing performance.
Since you spoke about ownership of the gross margins, the EBITDA margins among the employees, etc., what I wanted to understand is that CaratLane is growing extremely fast. It's broken even, and it's also contributing to the operational performance of the company very well. At that scale, are you tempted to buy more of CaratLane?
CaratLane is actually a fabulous decision that we took in 2015. We are in a very comfortable position in any case.
Yeah.
And Mithun and team and Titan management, some of us are also on the board of CaratLane. So we've worked so well together to capitalize on the synergies of this. So there is nothing like that at the moment to share.
I gathered that you are a singer. You love Mohammad Rafi songs.
Venkat the pest. Yeah.
But now we're by the water. We have our feet dipped here. There is the sound of the water. You want to hum a couple of lines?
अभी न जाओ छोड़ कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं अभी न जाओ छोड़ कर के दिल अभी भरा नहीं.
Wow. The other part of your business, which is the eyewear business, you all had a target of almost 10 million pieces by 23. Of course, that would have been impacted by the pandemic, etc. What is the updated volume target on that one?
Actually, the team spent the last 2 years in really streamlining the operations of the division and the business. And it shows in the results.
It does.
And it shows in the predictable monthly performance on every line of those results actually. And having done that, having established that foundation and actually created a culture of gross margin, cost, all that I spoke of, now the team is dreaming big from a sales growth point of view, and we'll soon be sharing what we actually are gunning for in the eye care business on that front. But that 10 million target, which was the inspiration which Bhaskar and others had started, is certainly going to propel us in that direction.
What is it right now?
In terms of the numbers,
volumes?
I don't know if I recollect, it's about 1.5 million or under 2 million, if I recollect right. From the number of pieces point of view.
Yes. You have a serious amount of cash on your books. The balance sheet has never been a problem for Titan. The group also has a fair amount of strength. Were the need for that capital arise at any point in time as well? Is an acquisition in the eyewear space on your minds?
Nothing at the moment. I think we have reached a fantastic position. The customer value proposition of Titan Eye Plus, which is our brand. Lenskart,
a solid amount of brand equity that they have. They have positioned themselves as people who would like to sell online and now are opening stores offline as well. With the kind of valuation drawdowns that we've seen in the new business space over the last year or so, I'm sure opportunities like this may have come your way as well. Have you ever thought of something like that?
No, we continuously keep thinking about it because after the investment in CaratLane 6 years back, we've certainly become very open to that way of growing. It's just that the right partner, target, whatever you call it, has to come along.
Your market share in the jewelry business has increased from 4 to 5% to about 6 to 7%. What would be your aspirational target, double digit in the next couple of years?
Certainly in the direction. It's actually very difficult to actually pin this down because of the nature of the industry. But our sense, because every month we keep an eye on the key players in every city, and we have a sort of bubbling up of that information for internal consumption to get a sense of that. So if I look at therefore in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years like that, quarter on quarter, how much we have grown and what the big competitors in each of the cities has grown, that 5 becoming 7 or 8 is through that process of comparison. And if I were to look at it in that same way, yes, should certainly go towards pretty close to 10% in the kind of 2 to 3 year time frame because of the 2.5x that Ajoy and team have declared also.
How do you position Titan for the new age consumer?
Women are intrinsically excited about jewelry.
Yeah.
Now, some women may have a view on why should I spend sort of tens of thousands on a fine jewelry which is made of gold and diamonds. I can buy something which is made of copper, right? But the store of value aspect of jewelry is so deeply rooted in the Indian, I would say, DNA, that it would take probably 2-3 generations for that to reduce. Which means the success of a Carrot Lane or a Mia is because that on the one hand, they are accessories and therefore they are part of your makeup, get-up, emotion and all that. But equally, they are store of value.
So is now the next leg of growth in terms of positioning for the jewelry business adornment and beauty? Because you came as a person who was extremely pure. The purity of gold was the first plank, and organized nature of the business, the trust that brand Tata and Tanishq bought with Titan, etc. All of that were the planks that you grew on. Now with hallmarking, a lot of that has been standardized, purity, etc. A lot of the brands have come in as well, some of them in the listed space too.
The Tanishq brand and the Tanishq product have both become much more central to the purchase by Tanishq customers, I would say at least for a decade now, as much as the Tanishq purity. Around the 2012s, 13s, in my own conversations with customers, design started becoming central to the, I buy Tanishq because of design. I buy Tanishq because of brand, right? So today Tanishq is bought for brand and design, and of course Tata and purity, and also for exceptional customer experience and relationships in the store. So while many other companies are listed, many other companies are big and well known on some of these parameters, they are distant from us.
And what about the new businesses that you're seeding? You have skin.
Very excited about perfumes. Taneira, we want to make Taneira like what we made Tanishq for the jewelry industry in every which way.
You were looking to grab a big market share of a growing market in the jewelry business. But out here, I'm not sure how big the ethnic wear market, specifically saris, high-end ones, are growing at, and what happens to Taneira in terms of growth when you equate it with the parallel of a Tanishq. Can it be as big?
You're certainly right on the point that you make about the Taneira category. The sari market has got disadvantages from a customer profile who wears saris and the younger women not wearing saris kind of thing. But despite that, the sari industry is very large. In our estimates, it's of the order of 50,000 crores. Okay. Now, women used to, and I'm sure even today, used to buy many more saris than they actually wore, because women are in love with saris. One of the things that we do feel that the sari industry has not done well enough is to actually keep the category current,
right,
from a wearability, comfort, from a design relevance, from a craft integration into deep design stories and all that, and keep a certain vitality in the category in the connection with the customer. I think Taneira is seeking to do that, is already doing that, wherever it is, but will soon do it at a national scale.
How about the 20 plus who are not wearing saris?
Yeah, so there are 2-3 things sitting there. The 20 pluses, I have 2 daughters, both are in that age group, they know how they feel and how they look when they wear a sari. So, we want to bring in, like if Taneira becomes this brand of choice in an LSR or a St. Xavier's Convocation Day,
yes,
where everybody in St. Xavier's in Bombay.
Are you looking at things beyond saris as well?
We already have what do we call SKD, which is Salwar Kameez Dupatta. We have lehengas, but the focus in the next couple of years will be saris.
And is men a part of that?
Not in our thinking at the moment, because it's too much to sort of focus on at one go.
And the perfumes as well, the distribution channel for the perfume.
No, perfumes is challenging. It's in fact very strange that the penetration of EDP, is as low as it is in a country like India. We are wanting to make it a big thing. No particular strategic sort of thrust that I'm able to share at the moment. But we certainly believe in it, and I'm sure soon it'll happen.
And the ladies' bags category, which you've just entered, how's the response been? Because, I mean, there was someone to the tune of, VIP as a player. They entered the ladies' bag category as well with Caprese. Found it difficult to, navigate through that market. What makes you confident here?
See, it's wherever it is a product on the person, which makes the person feel good, look good and all that, and where a certain consumer orientation is useful in building much better value propositions, we have done exceedingly well. A bag for a woman is a product of that kind, and we know what we are capable of. We are very confident that we'll transform that industry.
What are your thoughts on international? You have the target of 2,500 crores there. And what are the other categories that are on your mind right now?
The big thing at the moment is Tanishq, but we are also dreaming big on eye care. Okay. And we believe that in certain parts of the world it can be a decent sized business for us. And we'll talk about it in concrete terms when you have something concrete to show. But otherwise, the whole idea of forming the international as a separate division was to give the importance to all categories of the company at a CEO level. In India, our focus is to make Taneira much bigger, make bags an exciting category, take perfume to its right levels of scale, take eye care to multiples that you are asking question. Carrot Lane and Mia are booming, so we got enough wearables, the big thing. So in the next 2 years, nothing at the moment that I can.
Mr. Venkataraman, you have spelt out the vision that you have for the company. It was an extremely strong company before, you took over. It continues to be in your able, safe hands, and the vision that you have for it should comfort all the investors about the future of the company as well. 3 years before you turn 65, I believe. Have you thought beyond that?
I'm really looking forward to the fun I'll have after 65 years.
And for the company?
Company goes on. The Titan company is bigger than any individual.